Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Mal. I'm once again joined by my buddies Vanguard and Mickey. Hello fellas.
Hello. Hello.
So we're doing an ongoing series of what we think about sort of the modern XCOM, XCOM 2, XCOM Enemy Unknown, and the related DLC and mods and whatnot. And in this one we're going to move into primarily discussion about XCOM 2 and really the DLC that's released for it to date.
Solely the DLC, not the base game yet.
Right.
We'll cover what they added
means,
since the base game has been released.
That means that we're going to cover everything from things that maybe were just cosmetic all the way up to where it's like a reworking and like whole new mechanics and whatnot. So why don't we start off with kind of low-hanging fruit. It was just cosmetic, but Anarchy's Children DLC, which released back in 2016. Thoughts? Feelings?
How much was it? Did you check?
I think it was $5.
Yeah, that's compared to the low price of free of TLP DLC. And I'd like to add that yes, TLP DLC is absolutely worth it, regardless of everything that I said about it, because it's free. It is free, but yeah, compared to the armor for $5, ooh, yeah. Didn't Enemy Unknown do something similar to that? And it was not a good idea. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Not to mention I wasn't a fan of the armors they added anyway, especially because mods do it for free. So anybody else? I'd be surprised if their opinions were different.
No, you just summarized what I was going to say. Why should I buy that if mods are free?
Yep. It's like
listen, I think for this one it's tough because Anarchy's Children, I know a lot of people that actually liked it because they sort of bought into that, you know, people living on the
ragtag
outside, and to me though, there's a difference between, you know, having like older gear or not properly maintained gear, and then some of the stuff in Anarchy's Children, which was like
a bit silly
something out of Mad Max, but it was like Mad Max beyond that. It was like Mad Max gone super silly. And I've always felt like, and this is one of the things with XCOM 2 that did bother me, and we'll, you know, obviously we'll talk about that when we get to the base game, but I want to feel like a military organization or an organization that's trying to be. So it just didn't fit me personally. I could see how some people like the style. I didn't, and moreover, the thing that annoyed me the most was that, yeah, I paid for it and didn't like it, and that's okay, because sometimes that's going to happen, but there's an option for that slider bar where you can set it to where you want like basically nothing to appear, and still I'll have soldiers with like stupid clown
did not know that.
All the, I just hate it.
I think that is brilliant because it is so stupid. I think that is brilliant because it's so stupid. It is why?
Bad. Yeah. So for me, okay, I think maybe we got to do it this way because I think people are looking for this for us. For me, Anarchy's Children is a no buy. That I would not buy it again.
I would buy it if I like the base game. I'd buy it if I like the base game because I would just get any content for a game that I really liked. But I bought it anyway because I thought I'd like the base game. I just bought everything that came out on. I'm pretty sure it came out really close to day one, and I was still undecided about XCOM 2. But I would have bought it if I liked the game, even though I don't like the content. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Like the armors they added in Enemy Unknown, I think, yeah, they added like 2 or 3 armors, but yeah.
So then a couple months later, in May of 2016, they released XCOM 2 Alien Hunters. Transform XCOM soldiers into elite hunting squad and face off against new alien rulers. What do you guys think about that one?
Well, I love the idea of persistent enemies that remain kind of the same, as in, you know, they transfer between levels, almost like they're hunting you. And I love the idea of unique loot. I love that idea. I wish there was more unique loot in XCOM 1. I think Long War only had 1 piece of unique loot. And XCOM 2, there is now, we'll get to War of Chosen, but there is now multiple places where you can get unique loot. And I love that idea. I really do. And the problem with it is, though, that the rulers were really broken overpowered. This was Jake Solomon saying, oh, you think XCOM 2 is easy? Here's alien rulers, but without actually balancing it. And it makes a stark contrast between missions that don't have alien rulers, which are stupidly easy by contrast, and missions that do have alien rulers, an extra unit, a super unit, including on top of all the other pods, all of a sudden you're in hell. And there's just a massive contrast between the two. It's a difficulty spike out of nowhere.
I mean, I think
just up and down.
Back and they've addressed that now.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Into the overall campaign, they've addressed that now. So let's just state that. So as of 2018, I think that's largely fixed. But when it came out, I gotta agree with you, Mickey. It was like here's something that's, you know, really cool idea, and it had some neat story elements, and kind of got a little bit of a peek into what Valen had been up to, and I really enjoyed it. But
I don't like story-wise what Valen was doing. It was never implied that she was crazy. It was implied she was reckless and ruthless, but not crazy. I can't see her. Okay, the difference is I can see her risking the lab in XCOM 1 by doing something dangerous, but I can't see her making alien super units. For what reason? Why did she do this exactly? What was the goal? Did she ever say?
No, she didn't. And if you had read, you know, there were some books that did some tie-in stuff too that you could read that would fill in gaps. But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. But to your point though, the one that I absolutely agree with is that the encounters with with the alien rulers, well, it's funny that the alien rulers that break all the rules. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because none of the rules of XCOM that you and I and Vanguard have played for years, none of them applied to the rulers. So, you know, okay, I can use lightning hands because it's a free action and the ruler won't move, but if I sidestep 2 feet, then the thing's going to smash somebody in the head. Like, it was, to me, that whole thing was
I think
bad.
a much better way of handling it, which I think they did in the end, can't remember how it is now, but basically they took an action whenever any of your soldiers took an action. I think what they should have done is whenever one of your soldiers shoot and it uses an action, I think they should take an action. So that way it gives you the choice to flee if you want to. Because the problem is, if you engage a ruler and it charges into you, you can't even flee.
Right? Yeah, you don't have an option to sort of. It really came down a lot of times to how did you encounter them?
Yeah.
Did you
see them coming?
Right. So, you know, now it's fixed. You know, so then, you know, I think about it now. Does the alien hunters, other than the equipment, which is kind of cool, right? Some of the equipment is cool. Would you spend
a bit silly, but I'd like it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the axe I love the axe, right? But there's mods for that, and there's mods for a lot of the stuff. So my question is, would you pay, if it wasn't part of the collector's pack, like if you were buying XCOM 2 today, and Alien Hunters has been, you know, quote unquote fixed, would you pay $10 for Alien Hunters by itself today?
Yes.
The price here in Brazil is a little bit different, but I paid it. I think it was worth it. I don't regret it.
No, it was worth it. I bought it when it came out, but I'm just curious.
Recently. I didn't experience any of the bugs you guys were saying. I think most parts fixed, and it was quite fun. I mean, it's not tactical legacy pack levels of fun, but it's quite close there. I mean, the Hunters and the TLP were the best DLCs.
I think for average DLC price, I think it was worth it. I think it was fun enough, even though it had problems. But you know, it's funny. Interesting. We haven't covered the mission. This is going to be a reoccurring subject when it comes to XCOM and any DLC they add. Missions compared to the content that it adds. For example, with Alien Rulers, add Alien Rulers and weapons and armor and stuff like that. What about the mission? Because every single one of these DLCs that add stuff like that have missions with them. Do you have any thoughts on that at all? Because it's interesting that we completely ignore this fact. And I'll point this up whenever this happens, because XCOM, and I'm going to say this every single time, XCOM is not the kind of game that is suited well to story missions. It breaks the pacing of a game that is basically supposed to, you know, things get thrown at you, you have to deal with them. Not story mission that is kind of set and rigid, happens the same every time, and the Slingshot DLC in Enemy Unknown prove this. It's not a good idea to add that kind of thing in XCOM, but yet they keep doing it over and over again. There are so many YouTubers and streamers that don't even play with these story missions on because they don't like them. It is not suited that kind of thing. It's suited to adding content that appears in the campaign, but the problem is that kind of thing doesn't sell. People need to see it.
I think that's where the Tactical Legacy Pack nailed it.
Yes, because it was separate,
story, but it was encapsulated, and it wasn't present, and it wasn't forward thinking. It was, this happened, so let's reminisce about it. I thought that was a really cool way to do it. But I tend to agree with you, Mickey. I don't think it's impossible to implement story elements into XCOM. I think it's difficult to do it in a way that has meaning and also too maintains balance without, you know, derailing your campaign. Right? So I mean,
XCOM has a roguelike feeling.
Yes, exactly. XCOM at its base, its core, is a roguelike, and adding story elements to that are set, it kind of breaks it in a way. It breaks the feeling of, this is my unique campaign, this is the story of what happened, and it turns it into, this is the moment I do this particular story mission.
What's interesting is now, when you play with everything sort of unified, you know, you've got that option when you start a new campaign to unify all of the DLC that you own into the campaign, right? That Alien Hunters, whether you thought it was good or bad, had some compelling things in it, right? The alien rulers and the weapons and everything else and the missions. It becomes a footnote in the larger campaign.
Yes.
Like, I didn't even really pay attention to it. Like, it's like, oh, this particular simulation might be guarded by a tougher alien. It's like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Although I do like how they added the rulers to the, I remember now, that they added them to base assaults. When you're assaulting an enemy base, that's where the rulers are now, and I like that. You expect them there, you have to prepare for it, you have to go in with the right units, you have to know what you're going to deal with, and it makes those missions that are typically easier because there's no time limit, it makes them more difficult. I like that. It makes a nice trade between the two, between no timers, which we'll get to later, and alien rulers on missions that don't have timers, like those base assaults.
So I would buy Alien Hunters again. I bought it when it came out, and I would buy it again. You would as well, Mickey?
Yes, I would, but something to note, a bug with Alien Rulers, and I know you're not keen on me pointing out every little kind of itty-bitty thing, but this is a big problem, because if you bought Alien Rulers, installed it, didn't like it, there's an option when you start the campaign to turn alien rulers off. Do you know what that does? It turns off the story mission, but not the alien rulers.
Right.
So they're on the moment you start, but what you have to do if you don't want the alien rulers to be there is play with the DLC on, but not do the story mission when it appears. Right. What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you don't want to play with them on, so you have the DLC on, but don't do the mission. And if you have it off...
Just never respond to that signal and you're good to go.
Oh my god.
Just like Fallout 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Vanguard, you bought Alien Hunters recently, right?
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
And you felt like it was worth it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay.
As I said, all the bugs you were guys.
Yeah, it just goes to show the changes that they did.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to hear what you both say. I don't know if Vanguard has this particular DLC. I know that you and I both have it, Mickey. But Shin's Last Gift,
I don't have that.
which came out.
Yeah.
That came out like a month or two after Alien Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on Shin's Last Gift?
Didn't like it. Yet again, like every single one of these DLCs, has a story mission. Story missions break the pacing of the campaign. Don't like story missions for the most part. There are exceptions like Newfoundland in Enemy Within. Really like that. It's like a self-contained event. It's not a story mission, it's an event. And I didn't like Shen's Last Gift. Not to mention, I found they're called Sparks, right? The mechs? Sparks?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't like it. Really don't like them. I don't like how they're a separate unit. Like so many things in XCOM 2, they're separate units. They're not integrated into the game like in Enemy Unknown. You take a unit and you turn it into something new. In this, it's like you build a mech, it's all of a sudden a great mech, granted that's a level up, blah, blah, but it didn't have the same personality as turning a soldier, having cut off their arms and legs. It felt like you took that soldier and made it into something better, or risking that it might be something worse. It wouldn't work out, or they die and you put all these resources into them, but a Spark just wasn't the same thing. It didn't feel right at all. It felt like a pale shadow of a mech in Enemy Unknown, or sorry, Enemy Within.
Shin's Last Gift was, I'll sum it up, well, I've got more than one thing to say, but my initial response to Shin's Last Gift is that it just wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the story. I thought and I can't remember his name, the guy that voiced Julian was the highlight. I thought that was great, but everything else was really lacking. The mission was not particularly compelling. It was just like, hey, we're gonna have wave after wave after wave of these things come at you until you figure out that you've got to get over here and do a certain mechanic. I didn't appreciate that at all. Plus, once I finally did figure that out and got across, then the tube thing, the elevator things didn't work. That was bugged. Do you want to talk about bugs? This was a very buggy DLC when it released, and it just didn't feel like XCOM-y to me. It felt very tacked on. It did not feel very well integrated at all.
That is the problem with so many of the story missions. They feel tacked on. They feel forced. Like somebody's shoveling this content into an otherwise roguelike campaign.
For me, it didn't add any real value to the campaign. And then I absolutely agree with you as far as Sparks versus mechs. You know, when you cut up a soldier in Enemy Unknown or in Long War, when you do it because they're wounded and you kind of have no choice, and I kind of always had that role-playing element to it, like, oh, we appreciate your sacrifice, this is a way for you to get back into the fight and all that. I thought that was super cool.
And guys, we do have to point out, we do understand the difference between a complete expansion like Enemy Within and a little DLC like Shen's Last Gift, but mechs were supposed to be comparable to, Sparks were supposed to be comparable to mechs, so it is worth mentioning how they compare.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I was just really disappointed with Sparks. Now, I used a lot of different mods. The mod community has addressed a lot of issues with some of this stuff and have made them kind of interesting and given them different abilities. So you can make Sparks usable and somewhat interesting with mods, but by default, they're not that interesting, and they pretty much, in my opinion, suck. I mean, they're just not that great. So for me, if I was, you know, hey, here's the value proposition, would you buy Shin's Last Gift today? I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it again. It's not worth it to me. I didn't like the story, and I don't like the Sparks very much.
Oh man, that's gonna be a difficult question for me to answer. Would I buy it? The problem is, if I liked XCOM 2, I'd absolutely buy it. I'd buy bad DLCs for a good game. I think that's what it comes down to. Bad DLCs for a good game, I would buy. Not good DLCs, just okay DLCs for a game I wouldn't like, for a game I don't like. I can't answer that well. I mean, I bought it in the end. I bought it. Would I still buy it? I don't really, I don't know. I don't know if I would. If I was going to do a campaign for XCOM 2 eventually, yes, I would eventually buy everything, but I don't know if I would buy it. Vanguard?
Well, I can't say about this specific DLC because I didn't buy it, but I'm going to say in general.
I think that sums it up.
No, it doesn't. In general, what I do is this. I bought the game, okay, it's a great game, I like it. I really enjoyed it. So then I look up at the DLCs. For example, in Fallout 4, what are the DLCs that I recommend? Far Harbor and Nuka World, those two. Every other DLC, I say, yeah, the mechanics is okay-ish, but it's a little bit too expensive.
Tactile.
Every single other is not worth it because you can buy them with a mod. It's just a mod and it's very overpriced. So this sums us up. The DLC is shallow. It's not well done. It just relies on mods to fix it. It's not worth it for me. This is my 2 cents on
And
this.
I just want to point out, because I know people are going to mention, I understand why game developers have to make mods like this. When you've got an entire team of animators, artists, and level designers, they need something to do when you're working on a DLC. Hence why all these story missions exist, even though they're not suited to a roguelike. I know that's the case. I'm saying that it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to make DLC for that, or in that way. But I do understand why they exist. Those employees need something to do. They can't just sit around and get paid for doing nothing. It needs to be justified. So I get it. I do.
Their biggest addition to date came out in 2017 in the summer, which was XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, which the new released in 2018 Tactical Legacy Pack was additional content essentially given to War of the Chosen owners, and then in December you'll then have to pay for it, but at least initially it was free. You know, War of the Chosen for me addressed a whole lot of the issues that I had with XCOM 2 and made some vast improvements. At the same time, it also injected some things that became concerns for me as well. So it was sort of like a 2 steps forward and maybe 1 back into the side. For me. But let's talk about what did War of the Chosen bring to the table, what was good, what was it lacking, and then it's like $40 if you don't get it on sale. So
War of the Chosen was basically Enemy Within for XCOM 2.
Right. It was a true expansion versus a DLC.
Yeah. So I thought the Chosen were great. I thought they were great expansion of the idea of alien rulers, and after rulers got nerfed, the Chosen kind of took spotlight. I liked them. Key thing, I liked how they changed. I liked how they adapted. Although granted, the perks they got were kind of randomized for the most part. I believe they were meant to counter what you did, kind of like how Shadow of Mordor did it and Shadow of War, how the generals that you fail to kill get perks based on what I think you were trying to kill them, something like that. But the idea is that they get better, they improve, and I really like that. Problem is though, I absolutely hate the new 3 super units, and I will call them super units. The Templar, the Skirmisher, God, what's the other one? The stealthy guy.
Yeah, stealthy guy.
Stealthy guy.
Yeah.
But the point is, I really hate them. I think it undermines what the soldiers are. It's the story about the soldiers. The game is a roguelike, and you're forcing hero units into the game. When we make our own hero units like Van Dorn, who would otherwise be just a random guy who is called Van Dorn, doesn't make any difference who he is, but you're forcing superhero units into a roguelike. It makes the story about them every time, and I don't like that. I wish that you would send a soldier off to this faction and say, please train my soldier up for a week. They're gone for a week. You have no input in that, but you have no input in the time that they're away, but then they come back with a perk from that perk tree of that class. That's how they should have done it. Basically like psi abilities and gene mods in XCOM 1. They should have made it part of that soldier, not a different soldier class. It undermines the soldiers that you have, and it undermines it being a roguelike.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You should have taken a class like, in XCOM 2, a ranger, a la Assault.
Yes.
And maybe they want to be trained in like, whatever, psi blade discipline. Then they would go off to the Templar Temple or whatever the heck they call it, and spend X number of weeks, and then they would pick up that perk.
Yeah.
Kind of like how PsyOps used to be.
Yeah, how Psi and G mods worked in XCOM 1 and not how Psi works in XCOM 2.
Agreed. And, I like some of the hero stuff, and it's fun to play around with, but almost like, we talked about with Shin's Last Gift, and even with Alien Hunters to some degree, it pulls you out of the narrative.
Yeah.
You're right,
the narrative you make,
focus.
not the narrative that it's forcing on you.
Right, because we all create, I don't know if all of us do, but I think most of us create stories. Like one of the reasons,
even if you don't, the story is there,
Yeah, well, anytime I lose a soldier, I get so upset because every single soldier in every campaign I have, virtually, is a community member, and generally speaking, I know that person. So when I lose a soldier, I'm like really upset about it. Whereas if I'm handed this super soldier person or whatever, and they have their own narrative, I don't know. I don't like.
You feel detached from them.
I do. Yeah. I don't have the same
something that is forced upon you.
It doesn't grow on you. It's like Sean in Fallout 4. Here's a baby. This is your baby. You have to care for it. Oh, the baby's gone now. You have to go look for it. Do I? I don't give a crap about this baby. What are you talking about? It's like that. A narrative is being forced on you.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, so let's maybe on a wider theme then of let's take the hero units. Let's set that aside. That was obviously a big part of it. Now, I also think that.
Sorry. Just one last thing about the hero units. The Reaper's overlay. That's the name. Yeah, Reaper. He's called Reaper. Their overlay when you have that character selected. It's horrible. horrible. I hate it.
Oh,
it's so intrusive.
I have to switch to other characters
to be able to see better,
and then go back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The enemy, you know, like the big baddies, like the hunter guy. I love the hunter guy. I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah, I like that. He was really cocky and sarky, and I think wasn't he the character that when you beat him, he actually said, "I hope you win," something along those lines. I love that. All of a sudden, he turns into this caricature of "Ha ha ha! You're not gonna beat me too. I hope you goddamn murder them." I loved it. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, he was
so
great.
good.
He was great. The Templar and the ninja girl lady, I could have kind of taken them with a grain of salt, but the hunter, man, they nailed the writing for that, and it actually felt right, and it actually felt XCOM with him, and the reoccurring, you know, theme of them showing up was good, and it did make the missions more difficult, but for the most part, I thought I could handle.
They were absolutely more balanced than how the Rulers were originally.
Than the Alien Hunters was, so I felt like that was good, and then for me, the biggest boon for War of the Chosen had to be the optimization. Everything loads so much faster. I mean, it's I can't really even play regular XCOM 2 anymore now. Like, I play War of the Chosen whether I like the War of the Chosen campaign or not. Set that aside. I play that because I can't go back to the loading screens of XCOM 2.
Yeah, really, really weird. I don't know, they skipped out on a lot of optimization and bug fixing when they released XCOM 2, and a lot of the DLCs, which I suppose they were DLCs they couldn't really afford to
This is the
optimize
step
the main
forwards
game.
of this DLC for me. What you just said, the optimizations is the only good thing that I can see that is not bothering me in some way. Because everything, I'm silent here just hearing your opinion, but everything you said right now is exactly why I hate War of the Chosen. I mean, every single thing that they put there, aside from the optimization, I think it was more a step back than a step forward.
So you weren't a fan of the Chosen then?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, why not?
There, because I want to play XCOM. I don't want to play something that is tied to a super unit bosses.
It's basically a forced narrative, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was tying me to a style of gameplay that I don't feel like, it doesn't feel like XCOM, because I know I'm being retarded here, because I'm...
No, mate, I completely agree. It doesn't feel like XCOM, but I'm just okay with it. But I completely understand why you wouldn't like it. It doesn't feel like XCOM. Chosen don't feel like XCOM at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Because, as Mal said before, if it was on a base assault or some special mission that I know where I was going to, fine. You want to fight a commander, you want to fight a hunter, you want to fight...
Like how the alien rulers work now. They're now only in base assaults. Yeah.
Exactly. So, it doesn't make sense to me that a super unit, a boss, let's put it like that, a alien boss, was going to be down in the field. It doesn't make any sense to me. Those guys were going to be in bases, they were on very fortified places, overseeing what the alien invasion is doing.
The general idea was that they're supposed to be hunting you, they're supposed to be tracking you, but you are right, it breaks the pacing of the game.
They were hunting me, fine, make them go on a base assault on our base, the Avenger, fine, they are hunting us, they are not hunting my squad, they are hunting XCOM. Do you see where I'm trying to meet?
Yeah, that they should have been targeting the Avenger more, and what the Avenger's doing, and not where the soldiers would be.
Yeah,
that would have worked out better like that, to have it be a unique mission.
Yeah, exactly. Think about a global resistance. Does it make sense for an alien commander to target half a dozen squads? Doesn't matter how good they are, doesn't matter how elite those soldiers are. They are just a minor part of a bigger thing.
Instead of targeting the Avenger. For the record, the Chosen do target the Avenger, but it's not the only thing they target. They target your squad primarily.
It's a waste of resources thinking about a strategic way. That's why I hate War of the Chosen so much. If they want to kill XCOM, let's think about Terminator, because that makes more sense. Doesn't matter how many Terminators you kill. Skynet's just going to replace them. It's merely
oh my god, you're comparing XCOM rookies to Terminators! I completely get your point, but I've never heard that comparison made before. Oh my god, that's brilliant! Oh, I love it!
Yeah. So, if you want to kill the War of the Machines, the Rise of the Machines, you need to kill Skynet, you need to kill the Avenger, you need to kill the brain. It doesn't matter if you kill a body part. Because
we're just gonna hire more rookies!
Yeah, of course. Well,
I love that.
Even if they killed most of the Earth population, it's going to be millions of people left. Millions. I'm talking about infinite human beings.
That is a lot of rookies.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. So it doesn't make any sense for a commander to waste its time searching for a minor squad. It doesn't how war works. So it was just such a letdown for me.
I think that's a fundamental problem with how XCOM, the modern XCOM games work now, because in the old school XCOM games that we won't cover that much. It feels like an army. You're taking small squads of an army out. But in XCOM and XCOM 2, it's a squad. And in that case, it doesn't make sense. They're targeting little tactical squads, little resistance cells. They should be targeting hard.
Yeah, exactly. They should target the resistance cell command center, not the resistance cell operatives. It's just like that. So this broke this DLC so much for me. It takes away all the immersion that I was thinking, I was feeling like I was playing an artificial thing, a forced thing. And this is why I don't think it's worth it. If it was a $5, $10 DLC, okay, I can see that and I can let it go. But for an expensive DLC, an expansion pack, let's talk it like that, because this is what War of the Chosen is an expansion pack. I can bear myself to pay so much money for a thing that is so fundamentally flawed. And I know I'm being picky here, but this is how I feel. I don't care if the gameplay is perfect.
Mate,
if I'm not having fun,
we're talking about our opinions here, and your opinion is it doesn't feel like XCOM.
Yeah.
You're paying for an expansion that makes it feel even less like XCOM than it already did, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
But
I would pay for it again. So Bruno,
well, we're not covering things that were added in the game. The photo booth. What do you think? That was added in War of the Chosen. Give or take,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like okay. I mean, the first couple times I did it, I thought it was kind of cool.
Exactly. The first couple of times you're like, it's all right, but it's forced on you. When you end a mission, you go straight there.
Yeah, I
don't like that.
The devs seem to really like it. Like,
exactly.
Like, oh, this is the best ever, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean,
it's just meh. It's nice. It's a nice addition.
Nice,
but it's kind of shoved down your throat a little bit too hard.
I mean, if having that photo booth cost us something else in the tactical gameplay, then I would have traded out for something else. Yeah, I would buy, here's the thing, I would buy War of the Chosen again, because I enjoyed it enough. I get Bruno's points, though. I understand why Vanguard says what he said. I get it. But I would buy it again, and I would buy it again, and then I started thinking about it, I was like, well, this is kind of not a real good reason to buy something.
Mal, the fact that you didn't bring it up kind of sums up your thoughts. What did you think of the challenge mode that was added in War of the Chosen? The fact that you didn't even remember it was added in War of the Chosen just shows how meh.
Oh, challenge mode? I never did it. I don't care about it.
Exactly. That is exactly it.
No,
it's a nice addition, but it's just meh.
No.
Yeah.
For me, it was about the optimization more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that I can play War of the Chosen, and then the mod community is so vibrant thanks to the devs' support of it that I can set up a new XCOM 2 War of the Chosen campaign, get the mods that I want, and I can make it feel the way I want it to feel for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to me to get War of the Chosen, and the technical legacy pack comes with it, so that adds a lot of value. So I would buy it again.
I would buy it, but I need to add something. One bug that I encountered that might sound irrelevant, but the problem is this is kind of how the XCOM development is being done. That really kind of bugs me. So the Overwatch, how it worked in XCOM 1, EU, EW, XCOM 2, and all the DLCs up to War of the Chosen, how it worked was if an enemy's on Overwatch and you move one tile, you don't hit the Overwatch. It doesn't trigger.
Right.
You move one tile afterwards, it doesn't hit the Overwatch. It doesn't trigger. And it worked that way in XCOM 2. It was guaranteed every single time it would not trigger, and it was a high level of play, basically. It was like one of those nuanced things that you could do and take advantage of on very rare occasions, but it wouldn't break the gameplay, right? In XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, they changed that. Now sometimes it works, now sometimes it doesn't. But the problem is, why? Why is that the case? What did they do? What did they try to improve? If they improved anything that broke this, or was it just something they did at random? What part of their development process caused this to happen, and was an improvement? Do you see the point here? It was something that happened in the game that caused a bug, an issue with the game that takes away a high level of play, a slight high level of play, just a little bit of nuance, but why was it done? To what end? What was the purpose of it? Exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense.
And I don't know that they would either. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Question,
and that's kind of the problem. If it was something like StarCraft 2, you know a little nuance like that would be made sure it was still in the game. This is an underlying problem of XCOM 2 and XCOM 1, to be honest, that I will get to when we talk about XCOM 2, which... Did anybody else have anything else to add? Or should we end up going here?
I'm just gonna... Yeah, go ahead.
One important thing that Mal said, he would buy the DLC. He plays with mods. Maybe this is why I wouldn't buy the DLC. I don't really enjoy playing with a lot of mods. I play with a minimal amount of mods. And considering what Mal said, if I used a lot of mods, I know that there are a lot of great mods that fix my issues with the DLC. So maybe I would change my mind. So I just want to add this. So that's all. Thanks.
Okay. So we're gonna wrap our discussion here, folks, about the DLC, and then we're gonna move into just a discussion discussion about XCOM 2, sort of the core XCOM 2 experience.
Oh, yes.
That.
You've had a long time coming, game. It's been a long time coming.
So it's probably going to get a little interesting here, and then we're going to contrast.
Yeah, this next section, we warn you guys, will be broken up into multiple videos because there is a huge amount to talk about. The DLCs and expansions, they didn't change for the most part the gameplay of the game, and what we're going to cover is everything that we haven't discussed about XCOM 2 so far, which is so much. The underlying issues or things that we liked about the game, and we will go into quite a bit of detail. So it will be broken up into multiple episodes. How many? We don't know yet.
We hope you enjoyed this one and the previous video, and again, we'll put these all in the same playlist for you. So please do join us for the next one. If you enjoyed this, hit that thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Mal from Mickey and Vanguard, and we will see you later.
Thanks,
bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.